Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between enrollment and activation. Okay, sometimes people get the two confused. And so having a clear understanding about the difference and how it works in your mind is going to be very important, because it's the customer who often is going to be confused about it. And let's talk about first enrollment. Enrollment is what you've been practicing, is filling out the name, first name, last name, email address, username, password, all of that stuff that you fill out to create that new account for that new customer. That's the enrollment process. Also, enrollment includes making the first month's payment for the first month's service. That is what enrollment is. Activation is the second part of this process, and it is the activation process that actually activates the SIM card. If you enroll somebody and you give them a SIM card and they put the SIM card in their phone, it's not going to work until it's activated. And there's a reason, a very good reason, why it's split up into two separate processes. Over time, as your business grows, you will be able to start implementing marketing where you will be targeting people who are not in your immediate area, okay? In the beginning, this isn't going to be the case. The marketing strategy that we're going to be able to show you here in this training series that is easy to implement very quickly is a marketing strategy that targets local people in your local area. But like I said, over time, you will expand. And also there will be situations where you reach out to friends that you have or family members that you have and who you know would benefit from this product, or who you would know would want to get plugged into this industry, and they may not be near you. Okay, so that's the reason why it's a two-step process. First, you enroll somebody, and then you mail them the card. Either you mail them the card or Solavei mails them the card, depending on whether or not you have them in stock or not. Now, when somebody chooses to keep their same phone number, they want to switch their phone number from their current company over to Solavei, it's an instant thing. The very moment that the number gets transferred over to Solavei, their old SIM card doesn't work anymore. For example, let's say someone's using AT&T and they port their phone number. That's the term for transferring a number, port, P-O-R-T. They port their phone number over to the Solavei SIM card. That very moment, their AT&T SIM card stops working. Okay, so if you enroll somebody and then the number was instantly transferred at that moment from the AT&T SIM card to the Solavei SIM card, that person would be without phone service while they are waiting for their SIM card to show up. You know, you're dropping it in the mail today, it'll be 3 days before they get to them. Their number's already been transferred over, so now they're without service. So that's why it's a two-step process, so that you can enroll somebody, create their account, send them the SIM card, and when they get the SIM card, they go through the activation process. They activate it. That way, the very moment their AT&T SIM card stops working, they're able to put in the Solavei SIM card, and they're able to have zero downtime through the process as far as their phone goes. So that is the difference. Okay. Now, another reason why it's set up this way is so that someone's not paying for service while their SIM card is being shipped to them. Okay. People don't want to be paying for two different services. They're paying for AT&T, and now they're paying 3 or 4 days of their service this month is while their card's being shipped to them. Someone's bill date does not start until the card is actually activated. Okay, so let's say, for example, that actually, let me give you an example. I was dealing with a customer. A customer called. He saw some of my marketing, and he was like, "Jason, I've used to be into the cell phone industry a little bit. I got away from it for years, but this is incredible. I want to get in on this." And he said, "My next contract, or my next month, is due on the 25th of this month." And it was like the 2nd or 3rd of the month at this time when we're talking. And so he was like, "I'm really, really excited about this, and I'm going to be signing up as soon as the 25th comes along. I'm going to switch my service over." But what I was able to share with him is that there's two separate processes. First, he enrolls and he makes his first month payment. Then I was able to send him his SIM card. And when he got a SIM card, he still had about 2.5, 3 weeks before he was going to need to activate that SIM card. But because he enrolled, he was able to already get out there and start building the business. Once you enroll and submit your social security number into your account, even though you haven't activated your SIM card, you can still start building the business. So he was able to get out there and start implementing the marketing and start building his own customer base. And then, you know, on the 23rd or 24th, the day or two before his other service was going to end, he ported his number over, he transferred his number, and so he was able to pay on the 2nd or 3rd and then wait until the 24th or so to activate his card. Then from that point, his new bill date was the 24th of the following month. So someone's bill date starts when they activate the card. Another example of why it's good to understand this process, I had a customer call me 4 or 5 days ago. So the customer called me, and the customer was frazzled. He was like, I'm paying for 2 phone services right now. I transferred I activated my card and it's not working still. There's something wrong. And I asked him, I said, are you transferring your phone number over from your other company? And he said yes. And I asked him what the company was, and he said it's AT&T. So I asked him, are you talking to me right now with your AT&T SIM card? And he was like, yes, I am. I'm still talking to you on AT&T. Well, then I was able to explain to him, listen, if you had activated that card, then your AT&T SIM card would stop working. So what that means is there was some sort of error, and we're going to be able to I will help you here, get your card activated, but you don't need to worry. You're not paying for two services right now. You won't start actually paying for your Solavei service until we get this successfully transferred over. So a couple examples of ways that it will come up to where it's important to understand the 2 separate processes, and that someone's bill date doesn't start until they actually activate their card. Now, we talked about this in a previous video, in the video just before this one. This is one of the documents that I send somebody when either I'm dealing with a customer where I am mailing their SIM card to them, or if I'm dealing with a customer who comes to me but they need to wait until next week or the next week to actually transfer over, so they're not paying for 2 services at once. I send them with either this information or this information. Okay, we'll go over this one here. This is actually the porting instructions, and I'm not going to have screenshots on this video of what it looks like, because you can't actually get to those pages unless you have an account that you need to actually start porting over. But I'm going to go over the information, and it's very self-explanatory. It's very simple. You just have to import a couple of different things. So I will just go over this form with you right now. So the first step is to go to activate.solavei.com, and this right here is one of the documents that you will be able to download and print out, so you don't have to remember all this. But you go to activate.solavei.com. It prompts you for your order ID. It prompts you for your member ID, and then it prompts you for your order ID. Okay, your member ID is assigned to you when you enroll. Okay, and if a customer doesn't know where their member ID is, it's right here on the page. It says when prompted for your member ID, fill it in. This can be found by logging into your Solavei account at my.solavei.com and hovering your mouse over your name in the top right corner. So when you log into your account, you hover your mouse over your name in the top right corner, and a little window pops down and it says what your member's ID is. So that's how you find it. Then it prompts you for your order ID. Your order ID is a capital letter D, and then the last 6 digits of your member ID. And that's exactly what this form says. So they go to activate.solavei.com, put in their member ID, put in their order ID. Then it prompts them for the SIM card number. So the customer looks on the back of the SIM card and types in the SIM card number onto the screen. And it makes you type it in twice. It won't let you copy and paste it in there, because it has to be exact. If there's an error in that number, then it's not going to work. So you have to type it in twice. And then it asks you, do you want Solavei to assign you a new phone number, or do you want to transfer your number over from a previous company over to your Solavei SIM card? If the new customer chooses, I want Solavei to assign a new phone number to this SIM card, they choose that option and they're done. Boom, it's activated. They go to the site, they put in their member ID, order ID, SIM card number, say they want a new number, it's activated. They stick it in their phone, it works. these Solavei answers, it could take up to 24 hours, but typically it happens very, very quickly, almost instantly when you choose to have a new phone number assigned to it. There's one other step if the customer is wanting to transfer or port their number from their other phone company over. If they choose that option, if they say, I want to keep my same phone number, it then prompts the customer for their porting account number and porting PIN number. This is information that the customer has to contact their current cell phone provider. Let's say they're currently with AT&T. They have to call AT&T and say, hey, I'm transferring my number over to a new service. I need my porting account number and porting PIN number. AT&T gives that information to the customer. The customer types it into the screen, and at that point, the number transfers over. Now, at this point, it'll say it takes up to 24 hours. And sometimes if the number is transferring over, instead of getting a new number, if the customer is transferring their number over, sometimes it does take time for that to happen. What happens is as soon as that request is input into Solavei, Solavei instantly contacts that previous company, AT&T in this example, and says, this is the account number and PIN number for this customer. They put in a request to have that number released to Solavei. At that point, what you're actually waiting on is AT&T to release the phone number. Okay, so that's the process. And all of that is right here. All of those instructions are right here on this activation form. And I know that may have seemed like a lot because I was talking about it, but it's very simple. And if you have this, if the customer has this, they can just follow this step by step. They go to the website, put in their member ID, their order ID, their SIM card number. If they're keeping their same number, they put in their porting number and porting account number and porting PIN number. They click submit, and it's done at that point. So that's the difference between the enrollment process and the activation process.